Hey, it's two parshas this week, Tazria and Metzora. All these parshas are basically in Vayikra, in Leviticus, and they're all talking about Tuma and Tahara and all these like spiritual ailments and afflictions and metaphysical purities and impurities, contamination that we really don't understand so much about. But it's interesting that there's so many parshas about it. The whole book of Vayikra pretty much is all these interesting, like extra high levels of holiness with regarding food and with kashrut, with regarding relationships and sexual immorality and all kinds of like a higher level of almost metaphysical or spiritual refinement that does seem to be what we are working on during this whole time period where we read these parshas, which is sefirat ha-omer. So we're trying to reach some kind of higher level of refinement. But the reason why I'm talking about this particular, or what I'm talking about in this particular parsha is the ailment or the affliction of sefirat. It's called Tazria and Metzora, and in Metzora, also at the end of Tazria, there's all this like a specific kind of like bruises that you get on your skin or some kind of an affliction. And, it's either raised from the skin or it's inside the skin. It's internal, below the skin, or it's like an attached extra little skin tag. Like, it's bizarre. It's total physical manifestations of something that is obviously spiritual. And Kabbalah calls this the worst possible spiritual illness ever. It's mitzorah chashuv kamet. It's as if you're dead if you have tarat, if you have this kind of like spiritual leprosy. And it's interesting that the Zohar tells us that this whole entire illness is an illness of sgiru. It's called machtesh sagiru. It's an illness of closedness. Sagiru, it's closed. Like there's a person who's basically completely closed off from any kind of spirituality. He's completely detached from his own soul, from Hashem, from anybody around him. He's just like completely apathetic, doesn't really feel anything, doesn't have any kind of enlightenment or understanding or knowledge or interest in finding out anything about Torah. And this person is supposed to, like there's a whole parsha telling us how to fix this person. And it's almost as if like the Torah is trying to give us hope that even if you're in the worst possible state, there's always hope and there's a way to heal. And the way is, this is amazing. You're supposed to come to the Kohen, v'huva el ha-Kohen. He needs to be brought to the Kohen, who is like your teacher, the mentor. And this mentor, this Kohen, is going to diagnose your state, your illness, and tell you what to do. Dehahu itaken lemafteach hahu. And this Kohen, it's all in Aramaic, so don't be alarmed that you don't understand it, will open up this closedness of the person, and he will show him how to fix his situation. Le'idlaka botzina, and he's going to like light him up again and take him out of his darkness and fix him. And then he will, this nega, this affliction will disappear, and he will go back to being just one of the regular Jewish people, and he will initially have to leave the camp, but then he goes to the mikveh, and then he comes back to the camp. Anyway, all is good. There is hope. So Netivot Shalom says that one of the main ways to fix this person who is so far, and it feels like he's just like beyond any fixing or any help, is that, what does it say? First of all, you need to come to the Kohen. Vehuva el ha-Kohen. Like sometimes we think like, okay, we're in some sort of a very like bad place, or we even like have certain qualities or certain character traits that we think are beyond fixing. And sometimes we really don't know what the big problem is about this situation. Like sometimes we have an addiction and we just don't even know that we're an addict, or we are doing stuff and it just, everything seems fine and we don't realize that we're in a bad state. So we need a mentor, we need a kohen, we need a teacher, we need somebody, a guide, to be able to kind of take us out, of this state that we're in. We can't fix ourselves. That's number one lesson that Nesiv Shalom says. And the second thing, which is extremely important, is it says, Vehuva el ha-kohen, which means he is being brought to the Kohen. It doesn't say uba. Uba el Kohen is he comes on his own to the Kohen. Yes, I understand I have this affliction, I don't know what's going on, and I need to come to you. But this person doesn't even understand that he needs to come and ask for help. But rather, it says, Vehuva el HaKohen. His friends are bringing him to the Kohen. So says Nesiv Shalom, the first step is you need to be part of a group of friends. And it's funny because I remember we were just learning the other day and we kind of changed our learning day from Thursday to Tuesday because one of our group of ladies who learned together was saying, it just doesn't work out for me to come on Thursdays and I really miss this group of ladies. And I want to work on it. I want to work on making sure that I can come and to be part of these friends that I have, because friendship is really, really super important. She said she was reading, sorry, you're going to have to remind me if I'm making a mistake, a study that shows that longevity or just like quality of life is dependent on whether you have friends. You have a group of friends, especially for women. I think this is so important, that you get together with, that you're on the same wavelength with, that you talk, especially if you can learn Torah. I mean, that's just like, wow, so leveling up and upgrading our whole quality of life. But, even just friends, just to talk, okay, just to empathize with, just to understand each other. It's just nothing like friends. And that's what Nesiv Shalom is actually saying here. If you're in a situation where you just you're so closed off from spirituality, and you the first thing you need to do, the first step you need to take is be part of a group of friends, because that group of friends knows you and can show you in a good way where you're off. And maybe we have to know how to also take criticism and understand that our friends love us and that they mean only for our good, and they're going to take us to the Kohen. They're going to grab us and going to bring us to the guide that we need or the mentor that we need. And so we should also remember that if we're going to be part of a group of friends, we have to also remember who are our friends, and be part of a group of people that we know will be honest with us and that we will be able to accept their honesty and their criticism of us. I mean, I hope it's going to be just constructive and it comes out of love. You need to know, who you're friends with. But I just wanted to point that out because just we women are, prone to thinking that we can do it all ourselves and that we don't need any help and that we are in control and we're good and we don't need anything from anybody, but we need friends. Okay, so that's number one. And all of this basically is part of this big long period of time called sefirat ha-omer. And we're in this time now where we're going from the level of the depravity of Egypt, the mentality of a slave, of a person who has no identity, to the giving of the Torah on Shavuot. And each day we're working on our character traits. And we have these 7 weeks, and we're now in the middle of 7 weeks. We just actually past the 2-week mark. We are on 2 weeks today. So we're getting there. And every day we're supposed to work on our different character traits and not only that, but like the Nesiv Shalom says that at the end of this, we're going to be v'hikravtem mincha chadasha laHashem. We're going to bring a new sacrifice to Hashem. And that new sacrifice, it's interesting. It's not really a new sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that we're using the new wheat. Like we're finished with the old wheat and we're starting the new crops from the new year. And that is what the wheat offering is that we bring on Shavuot, the bikurim, the first crops, the first fruit of the new year. So says Nesiv Shalom that it's funny that it says like mincha chadasha, you're bringing a new sacrifice. You're not bringing a new sacrifice, you're bringing new flour. But he says, no, it's actually you are turning into a new sacrifice. You're turning into a new offering because you're becoming a new person out of this process of each working on your mitzvot. And he also says another thing, that this mincha, this offering, is called a minchat tenufa. It's a swing offering. Such a weird thing. So some offerings, I think all offerings are really actually, if it's small enough for the Kohen to pick up in his hands, he's supposed to kind of swing it, And I remember once asking my gym instructor, Miriam, I said to her, like, what does the word tnufa mean? This swinging going on. Like, what does it exactly mean? And she said it means momentum. That's the word in English. You take like a swing back, like you take momentum. Like you kind of like take a step back and then you jump into whatever it is, the movement that you're going to reach or you're trying to reach. And that really seems to be what sefirat ha-omer is about. Like we kind of like, I wouldn't say take a step back, but we need some momentum. We need some swinging. We need some shaking up going on, And I don't know, it seems like for different people, it's in different ways. You take that momentum however you want, or you take that swing, or you need to like shake yourself up a little bit. It doesn't happen naturally. We don't change so easily and so naturally and so quickly. So I don't know, in Israel, I mean, it really seems like these wars are a bit of a shaking up for us, what's going on in Lebanon right now, and, all these peace talks and the ceasefire and the yes ceasefire and no ceasefire. Are we going to have another, war? Everything is very like high tension to an extent, but it gives us a chance to reflect a little bit and to say, okay, what is Hashem trying to teach us here? How can we change? How can we take this momentum, these like big things going on in our lives, and really use them to move us forward? And so let's try and do that. Let's try and like reach a level of like, we're taking our midot, we're taking our character traits, and we're really trying to transform them. Oh, another thing that I remember that Netzivat Shalom said about, it says also, Adam ki yakriv mikem korban. A person you're going to sacrifice from yourself a korban, mikem, but it also stands for the root of midah keneged midah. I think I may have spoken about this once before. It sounds familiar to me. Not too long ago. Mem, kaf, mem, mikem, from yourselves. So it also means like you're sacrificing yourself, or you're taking something of yourself. But it's also midah keneged midah, means you're taking your own character traits and you're trying to elevate them, or you're trying to change them. Keneged, you're taking one midah that you have, and maybe it's like not such a great midah, or it's like a trait that seems to be like kind of difficult, and you're doing the keneged. You're kind of trying to take it and like make it work in a good way, like almost use it for the good and transform it. And also Sarah was telling us about somebody in her family, I forgot who, I'm sorry, who was like almost like told when she was first in kindergarten or in nursery school that she was like bullying other girls, or she was very, very opinionated and telling other people what they should be thinking and what they should be doing and what they should be voting for and stuff like that as a little girl. And and it took a teacher or somebody to really believe in her and to show her that that's not called bullying. That's called really being strong-minded and really taking your trait of like believing something and being passionate about it and trying to influence other people. And she used that as a leadership quality. So I think that's what it means. It's like you need to realize that some of the flaws that you think you may have, or some of these difficulties that you have, or challenges that you're faced with, it's actually there where the growth occurs. That you have to realize that that's it. That's your issue. And that is where your actual amazing growth can come from. And that's where the transformation occurs. And that's where you become that new offering, that new person for Shavuot, in time for Shavuot. So everybody have a great Shabbos, and only good news.